Let's go to Jay Bach, comedian.
Hey guys.
Hey Jay,
Hey, how are you?
Good.
What's going on? So, what do you think?
Just living the dream here.
Did you like that conversation about our former president like 3 years ago that we still can't forget about?
It still amazes me. I don't know what everybody's going to talk about if he doesn't win the Republican nomination, but
I know what's going to happen. We'll still talk about it. That's what'll happen. So we got a great thing going on. A fantastic event. We're proud to be a part of it. I know Mike is, and is going to do a great job with it, and we're looking forward to this. So let's tell everybody what's going on.
Okay. Well, we've got this huge fundraiser, actually 5 different shows to raise money for the people of East Palestine. And so we're going to have 5 shows throughout different parts of northwestern Ohio, I guess you would classify it. We've got Medina, we've got Massillon, we've got Cuyahoga Falls, which will cover the Akron area. We've actually got East Palestine. That'll be our final show. And we got Columbiana, which is our kickoff show.
It sounds great, Mike. You know all about this. So
yes,
what's going to be happening?
Jay found a charity based there, boots on the ground, knows exactly what all those people need, know how to get the resources to everybody else. And this is what I really am amazed with Jay about the way he put this all together. There isn't a single dime that's going to touch a comic's hands or Jay's hands or a promoter's hands or anybody. The way you participate in this is you go to the site, and we can put that up after I let Jay talk about it, and you donate, and then you get a receipt once you donate. That receipt gets you into the shows. So it's clean, it's simple, and just like you and I and Triv were proud to associate with Coats for Kids because all the money went to the Coats for Kids, the same thing's going to happen here. No matter what anybody decides to donate, all that money is going to help the people in East Palestine. It's going right to them.
I mean, that's very cool because I actually have been there with my family. We went and saw the derailment. We could see it from where we were parked, and there's a lot of things going on there. I know that they just recently had to dig up more soil over there, which affected some people again. So, yeah, they definitely need stuff, without a doubt.
And Jay, tell us a little bit about what the comics' response were when you started to make some calls and the word got out.
The response to the comics was actually overwhelming. I mean, I was very pleasantly surprised. I mean, you and I have been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. So we know a lot of the comics, and I barely put the word out. And all of a sudden I had people like, what can I do? How can I help you out? Just tell me what you want. I've got comics. I would have been happy just to have them do one show. Comics are like, hey, however many shows you need me, put me down. Put me down for all 5. Put me down for 3. Can I do this venue? Can I do that venue? To the point to where it's really turned into a who's who of Ohio comedy at any one of these shows you go to. And like you said, the beauty of it is people go to the way station. They'll, as if they were making any other donation to any other nonprofit, they click on a button, they just designate comedy show, and they can print that out, use it as their tax deduction, and they can also use it to get into the shows. And let a little secret out. We're asking for $20 donation from people, but nobody's checking that. So it's like if you just showed up and didn't even have a ticket, nobody's going to throw you out. We'll have the QR codes there. If you show up without the ticket, you may decide, hey, look, I've got 6, 7, 8 headliner comics here. This show is worth $200. Maybe they'll just decide to donate $200 the night of the show. Whatever they want. We're not twisting anybody's arm.
Right. And the other thing that's
the waystationinc.org, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Waystationinc.org. I put that up on the comments so people can see it and they can click on it and do whatever they want to do. So,
and Seth, we picked them principally because we didn't have to deal with the money, that people could donate directly to them. Because there's other charities and stuff too. Some of them didn't have boots on the ground. Some of them didn't have the technology that they have to be able to make the donation. And I didn't want to be handling money. Although that being said, I will tell you the kickoff show in Columbiana, there's a chance that our contact at the weigh station may be there. So they may pass a hat there, but then it would go directly to the contact from the weigh station. The comics and us, we wouldn't have anything to do with it anyway.
And here's the other beauty about the way this is set up. We're doing the 4 shows that take place over a month to raise the money and the awareness and get as many people as possible to donate something to the people in East Palestine. But then City East Palestine is going to give us their high school gymnasium packed full of as many seats as possible. And then we are going to go down and do a free show for as many adults in that city as we can pack into that gym, just to give them a few laughs after all they've been through. That was a hell of an idea, Jay.
That was the no-brainer part.
Well,
I mean, it seems like a very cool thing. I mean, it really does. I'm looking forward to being a part of this. And the comedians are going to be all over the place, right? And can they see a list of where all the events are going to be at the weigh station?
Actually, I just got Mike. I don't know if you got it, but
I got
it. By the name of Bill Stone, who just minutes ago sent me the flyer, and the locations are going to be the Columbiana Cultural Collective in Columbiana. Obviously, that's April 11th. That's our kickoff show. April 25th, we're in Medina at the Medina Nazarene Church. So that's going to be a cleaner show. So if there's a show that you're worried about taking your grandparents to or something, that might be the one you want to go to.
Yeah, but to tell them, if they go to the church show, 2 of their venial sins and 1 of their mortal sins is forgiven. So it's kind of a trade-off.
I don't know if the Nazarenes are into that. So
I know, I'm kidding.
But I will tell you, the Nazarenes did step forward. The Catholics didn't return my calls. So so I'm throwing a little guilt back their way now. So the least they can do is show up and help these people out. May 2nd, we're down in Massillon at Crackpots Comedy Club, which is a nice place down there. May 8th, we're at the Funny Stop in Cuyahoga Falls. Shout out to Pete. It took him all of 2.5 seconds to say, Jay Bach, you use my place. So I'm thrilled with that. And then the final show is May 23rd in East Palestine. And again, we're doing that primarily for the residents of East Palestine, but nobody's checking driver's licenses to make sure you are there. I mean, if we end up adding more, great. The hardest part, to tell you the truth, was getting the venues. And all the shows are going to be on Tuesday nights because I was asking the venues to donate their facility, and I didn't want to take away from their weekend business. And once we started on Tuesdays, for simplicity's sake, every one of them is going to be on a Tuesday. So
that makes sense too.
If there's somebody out in Lorraine or somewhere else that has a 100-seat venue and they want to get added to this, reach out to me because we'll do as many shows as we can help. My concern is, and I heard you guys talking about the shooter before going on. The problem is I think East Palestine's rapidly falling out of the news cycle. And these people still have to live with it long after, it's no longer being broadcast anywhere.
And in addition to that, everybody was talking about, what those people need. And you sit at home and you picture and stuff like that. And they got donations of blankets and food and water and all those types of things. But in this situation, the way the accident was and what really happened there, it's not like the town had all kinds of destruction of homes and streets and businesses. It was the water and the air. So when I found out through Jay that the waste station had told them, everybody here wants new air filters. Duh. I would have never guessed that sitting at home here in Cleveland. So your money puts all new air filters in all the houses down there. You can go to bed at night and breathe a little easier. No pun intended, but feel better about, their house.
And that's the benefit of working with somebody who's actually in the community, because I had assumed water, right? And the first thing the lady said was, "You're not bringing water, are you? Because we don't have anywhere else to store it." And so what do you need? And she goes, air filters, air, not fresheners, the things that recycle your air purifiers. And so they can turn on a dime as the people need something. Maybe a business just needs a little cash infusion because they had to throw away their inventory and it wasn't insured or whatever. They're right there so they can respond to people. Maybe it's just food. Maybe they just need to get their hands on some food.
That's one thing. I mean, I've been watching obviously a lot of this stuff. I don't know the government has done a whole lot to help them over there, and I know that Norfolk Southern certainly hasn't done a whole lot. I mean, these people want their houses sold because the property values are down. Everything is down in that area now because of this, and like you said, it's kind of leaving the news cycle. It's going away. People don't think about it, and they need to not be forgotten here. So, I think it's a great thing.
Well, Seth, you're right, because I think the local government's doing what they can.
Yeah.
They're just not equipped for something of this magnitude.
No.
Right. I think, the feds probably could have done more, but the local government is just, I'm out here in, Seville, Lodi, Westfield Center area. We got trains that run through here all the time. And if something happened out here, I know Lodi couldn't move on a dime to handle something of this magnitude. And so I kind of identified with, a rural community where it's like, oh, great. Now what do we do? Nobody anticipated something like this ever happening.
And the big fear down there also is the fact that, what are we, a couple weeks away, if not starting right now? They got to put their seeds in the ground if they're going to be able to farm any of that land. And you want to make sure that the land and the water that they irrigate it with is potable, farmable, and isn't going to cause more problems.
Well, the EPA says everything's fine.
Of course they do.
That's what they told the Marines at Camp Lejeune too, but I'm sure it has nothing to do with it.
Well, I'm happy to be a part of this with Mike, and the show is, and of course the CMS network, Chris Aiken has joined on as well.
Yes.
We're going to be promoting this all over his network. So the CMS network is a big part of this too.
I appreciate it, guys.
We're going to try to get this thing rolling, and hopefully it'll be a great event, and I think it's going to be cool. I want to get to some of these comedy shows. I was hoping they're on Wednesday nights, so that way Mike wouldn't be here for the show, and get somebody that wasn't talking about Trump all the time. But Tuesday nights is a good night to have it, so Mike will be here.
You think you'll be able to come out to one?
I'm going to make this promise in front of Jay, Seth.
Yeah.
Trump is so far at the end of the tunnel, and I have no problem getting rid of him. What I'm going to start doing from now on is start talking about where the problem started. And from now on, instead of talking about Trump, I will be talking about Ronald Reagan.
There you go.
Okay.
Forget about, Bill Clinton. But, we don't talk about Bill Clinton smoking cigars out of women. That's not a big deal. We leave those kind of guys out because they happen to be lefties. But it is fine. You can talk about whoever you want to talk about. Ronald Reagan, the greatest president of all time.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was great because he didn't know what he was doing. So that was good.
Jimmy had Billy. Okay. So,
yeah. Everybody had somebody. The other thing is too, and what we're doing here on the show and with Jay's help and guidance too, is like Jay finished saying, the shows are all going to be on Tuesday, which means next week we're going to have Bill Stone, who's doing all the publicity and is the one that's going to let everybody know that the show's involved, everything that Chris is doing and the network is doing. But then after Bill, we can have a comic that's going to be in each and every one of the shows leading up to the show that's going to be that the next night, Tuesday. And then who knows, over the next 5 weeks, Seth, anything could happen between the network and between the show. Maybe on Monday we have somebody from the charity on from East Palestine, et cetera, et cetera. So we're happy to help, but there's going to be a stream of comics, and part of it's coincidence, part of it's timing. But Seth and I have been discussing maybe adding a comedic segment to the show. And you got to kick it off, Jay, and your work certainly set a high bar, but we hope to have comics on a regular basis, and it'll be a welcome addition to the show.
I'm sure the comics will love it and appreciate everything you guys do. Can I just mention to people, if they happen to miss your show, which is a big loss on their part, if they find me on Facebook, it's JAYBOC. I'll just be promoting the crap out of this. So there's no way you're going to miss it if you're following me on Facebook.
Great.
Fantastic stuff, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight and talking about this, the waystationinc.org. Be a part of this. You get to see some comedy, help out East Palestine, and I think it's going to be a good event. So thank you.
Who knows? Maybe Dave Chappelle will get wind of it and stop in as a surprise guest somewhere.
He's from Ohio. We can only hope, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well,
send us, have Bill send Seth some of the artwork, or at least the flyer, so that we can get some pictures up too.
Yeah. Great, we'll get that to you.
And we'll put this information, and everything else on our website too, so anybody can watch, be a part of that too.